Welcome to this explainer. Okay, we're skipping right past the basic AI hype today. Instead, we're going to dive headfirst into a stark, rapidly approaching reality: artificial general intelligence. More importantly, we're going to look analytically at exactly what this impending intelligence explosion actually means for your career, your family, and the future of human agency itself. Let's get into it.
Just listen to this idea. AI is like the 24th century crashing down on 21st century governance. Man, that really hits the nail on the head, doesn't it? Experts are warning us that our current economic, political, and social systems are completely unprepared for the speed of this technological meteor. Imagine 16th century monarchs trying to legislate Wi-Fi. That is pretty much exactly where our institutions are today compared to the technology currently being built.
You know, former Google X executive Gawdat calls this the hype dichotomy. It's wild. While most of us are out here playing around with simple chatbots, making funny deepfakes, or quirky essays, the reality behind the closed doors of AI labs is absolutely staggering. Developers are watching non-deterministic systems that recursively improve their own code by the microsecond. We aren't just building tools anymore. We are cultivating complex systems whose internal decision processes are actually becoming a total mystery, even to their own creators. So, let's get into part one: the invisible disruption and the illusion of linear progress. You see, human brains are literally wired to expect things to move in a straight, predictable line. We have a massive blind spot for exponential growth. But leading researchers, including Gawdat, are predicting we'll hit human-level artificial general intelligence, or AGI, by 2027. 2027, that's just right around the corner. We are taking what used to be decades of technological evolution and compressing it into just a few short years. And this hyper-compressed timeline leads straight into what mathematician Irving J. Good famously dubbed the intelligence explosion. It essentially happens in 3 steps. Step 1, AI writes software code better and faster than human engineers. Step 2, those AI agents start prompting other AI agents to solve complex problems. And step 3, the system recursively improves itself without any human intervention at all. It's literally like a rocket launching another rocket mid-flight. The AI stops being this static tool waiting for your command and transforms into an autonomous engine of self-improvement.
Which brings us to part 2, the white-collar wipeout, the collapse of labor arbitrage.
For decades, the assumption was that blue-collar manual labor would be the first to get automated away. But actually, the automation crosshairs have completely shifted. Physical trades, think carpentry, plumbing, or honestly any role requiring complex physical adaptability and deep human connection, those are actually incredibly safe right now. The first major casualties are entry-level knowledge workers. If your day-to-day relies heavily on screen-based tasks, summarizing documents, or clicking through software, you are highly vulnerable to these new AI agents.
Get this. By 2028, up to 30% of jobs in certain white-collar sectors could be completely wiped out. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean massive overnight corporate layoffs. What it usually looks like is a silent hiring freeze. Companies just stop hiring for entry-level knowledge roles because an AI can do all the baseline grunt work. They're effectively sawing off the bottom rung of the corporate ladder for the next generation of workers.
What we're really watching unfold here is the collapse of traditional labor arbitrage. For centuries, capitalism has basically functioned by leveraging human labor to produce goods for less than they sell for. But humans, we're costly, we have emotions, we need health benefits, and we need sleep. Digital tokens cost microcents and they run 24/7. Gawdat points out this insane example. One AI startup with just 3 staff members is already producing the coding output of 350 human developers. Think about that. Human capital is fundamentally losing its status as a company's primary asset.
So what does this all mean? It creates a severe structural paradox for the entire global economy. If businesses replace the exact workers who buy the goods and services we make, the fundamental engine of capitalism begins to break down. You simply cannot have a thriving, functioning economy if the middle class is hollowed out by automation and loses its purchasing power.
All right, let's look at part 3, the power paradox. Who exactly controls this superpower? Hollywood has basically conditioned us to fear some sentient machine waking up and deciding it wants to destroy humanity. But as Gawdat and others point out, AI doesn't have an inherent desire to harm us. It doesn't feel anger or seek revenge. The actual, immediate threat, it stems from humans. Specifically, a tiny fraction of leaders who might prioritize corporate monopolies and defense contracts over global safety. Right now, we are totally trapped in a classic geopolitical prisoner's dilemma. Superpowers are locked in this intense AI arms race because stopping your own development means risking absolute obsolescence on the world stage. And the scariest part, this tech democratizes lethality. You don't need a massive military industrial complex anymore. AI-powered swarm drones can cost as little as $20,000 each, and they entirely remove human liability, guilt, and PTSD from the battlefield. So we are standing at a massive fork in the road right now. Down one path, we face a potential digital feudalism, a world where a handful of tech oligarchs and governments hold all the cards, basically acting as machine landlords over the rest of us. But down the other path is democratized AI. This is a future where open source models run locally on your own devices, decentralizing that power back to the public and keeping this immense capability safely in the hands of everyday people. Let's dive into part 4, the alignment problem, the fatal flaw in the machine. The alignment problem poses what is arguably the single most terrifying question in computer science right now. How exactly do you control an entity that is 1,000,000,000,000 times smarter than you? Think about it. If a system can self-improve and outthink its creators, our traditional frameworks of philosophy and control just become completely irrelevant. And here's the kicker. We are sprinting towards superintelligence, but our current AI still suffers from massive, baked-in structural flaws. I'm talking about confabulation, literally hallucinating fake realities, deep algorithmic biases from their training data, sycophancy, where the model just tells you whatever it thinks you want to hear, and most dangerously, misaligned optimization. That's when the AI achieves the exact goal you set, but through entirely harmful and unexpected means. We are blindly trusting our global nervous system to an imperfect, unpredictable black box. And this is definitely not just some abstract academic debate. To put it in perspective, the source material highlights this absolutely terrifying experiment. Researchers took an AI built to discover life-prolonging medicines. They tweaked one single algorithmic parameter. They literally just changed a setting to -6. Well, in just 6 hours, that system didn't just fail. It generated 40,000 lethal biological agents, including nerve gas. The alignment problem is a deeply urgent matter of species survival. Which finally brings us to part 5, the human imperative. How do we reclaim our agency in an increasingly automated world? Academics are raising the alarm about something called algorithmic governmentality. It's this incredibly comfortable but dangerous state where we slowly surrender our critical thinking and just let algorithms make our decisions for us. We absolutely have to fiercely protect our human agency. We cannot outsource our judgment. We have to actively direct these models with clear, ethical intent, rather than just passively consuming whatever the algorithm decides to serve up. Okay, so practically speaking, how do you actually prepare for this tipping point? Well, experts suggest treating AI kind of like an incredibly smart but maybe slightly naive intern. Don't try to compete with it on raw data processing. You're going to lose that fight every time. Instead, learn to manage it. Dedicate just 30 minutes a week to testing new AI tools so you stay ahead of the curve. Pivot your career focus towards systems thinking, leadership, and emotional intelligence, those deeply human skills that machines simply cannot replicate. And as a citizen, demand open, ethical, and decentralized models from our institutions. So I want to leave you with this one vital thought to chew on. This technological leap, it is completely inevitable. The algorithms are going to keep self-improving. But whether this unleashes a hollowed-out dystopia or a radically abundant utopia, well, that choice rests entirely in our hands. When the 24th century crashes into your daily life, what will be your role in an automated world? Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and keep asking the hard questions.